Welcome to G Gaming. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to download and operate Divinci Resolve for the absolute beginner. This is just a how to get started video. This is not going to be a very in-depth video, but it will help you get going into the right direction. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So you want to go ahead and type in Divinci Resolve in the Google search bar. Once you do that and this page pops up, go ahead and look for Blackmagic Design and click the link that says Divinci Resolve underneath of it. So once you click on the link, it'll bring you up to this window. You want to go ahead and click the download button right here. It'll bring up this little window, and this is where you can download the free version, or on the right side you can download the paid version. And for this video, we're going to go ahead and download the free version because the free version can do more than enough to make good quality videos that we will be doing. So you want to go ahead and click the type of computer you have, and you want to go ahead, you'll fill out this register form for the information. You want to go to register and download. I've already done it, so I won't be doing it again. Once you do that, you'll go ahead and zip the file onto your computer after it gets done downloading. So once it gets done downloading, you should get a window like this. You can either right click it and zip the file, or you can drag and drop it. Some computers won't have it, like mine don't, so you have to drag and drop it onto the desktop. Once you do that, you just follow the commands on how to install it, and then it should install. And just mind you, it is a very big program. As you can see here, it's over 1,000,000 kilobytes. That's quite a bit, so it will take up a lot of memory. So just be wary of that when you do install it. Make sure you have enough memory to do so. And then once it's installed, you want to go ahead and click the icon that says Resolve on it. Once Divinci Resolve loads up, you'll be greeted with this screen right here. And if you click down here for new project, you can type in whatever you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this one Divinci Tutorial, and then just hit create. Once you hit create, you'll be taken to this screen right here, to the cut screen. So this is where you can import media. You have multiple ways of doing it, but before you import any media, I would go down and click on the settings, and then this is where you can put your settings in for your video if you have your video numbers. So you can change your resolution here to whatever it is, your frame rate, type in 29.97, and you can adjust everything there. So you have multiple ways of inputting your media. The easiest I find is right clicking on this box right here and just go to import media. Then you can go to your file you want, pick whatever you want, and then just drag and drop it, and it should be placed right there. Same thing goes for your music and your pictures or any other thing you want to do. You can just drag it and drop it. I find that's the easiest way. If you don't want to do it that way, you can go down here to the media and you can do the same thing. Just go ahead and click that, find your file, go to YouTube videos, and you can just drag and drop it down there. Same thing, I just find the other way much easier, much faster. I don't have to go to another screen to do it. So I can just drag, drop everything, and you can do the same thing if you wanted to put multiple ones in. You can just highlight them, drag, drop them all there, and they'll all be put in there. So you don't have to do it one by one. Now, you want to go ahead and drag and drop this onto here. Now this cut one, it's more of a simplistic way to edit. If you're not going to be doing anything complicated or adding effects and stuff of that nature, I would go ahead and use this one. But if you're going to be doing a little more in-depth editing, I would go ahead and go down to the edit down at the bottom here. This is the one that I use the most. You can click on this to zoom in and zoom out. You can click on this little icon right here, and this is where you can adjust your footage. I like to have mine all the way on the left. It allows me to see more in depth. This is your audio, and then you can adjust the height of your video. Then you can adjust the height of your video so you can edit it a little more. Then you can zoom in and you can adjust the volume right here. Make it as loud or as soft as you want. You have your files, edit and trim and stuff up here. You can also import footage and stuff into your timeline. This is where you can also find some of your shortcuts. If you don't know what shortcut it is, you can look off to the right and you can see your shortcuts. Same thing with trim. I would highly suggest trying to memorize a good portion of the shortcuts because they will save you a bunch of time. For some of the basic shortcuts, just to kind of help you get started, if you push the space bar, it will play your footage. Hello, welcome to G. You can also stop it by the K button. You can also play with the L button. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing. You can also go back with the J button. And if you want, you can always speed up your footage by double tapping L or double tapping J. You can also triple tap and it goes by 8 times. Same thing, triple tap, it goes back. So you can do it that way. You can also adjust where you want to go right here. So then once you mess around with the play, pause, and reverse button. Now once you're ready to actually cut your footage, you can push the B button. The B will bring up your little blade icon right here. And you can just chop that off. Push A, it'll bring up your pointer. You can make sure the box is red, hit Shift B, and it will snap back to the beginning. If you only hit delete, it will just delete it and it won't snap it back. It would just leave it right there. So I would get used to hitting Shift Delete, or unless you don't want it to snap into place. It's just much faster that way. And the most important one for me is the save button. If you hit Control S, you will automatically have your stuff saved. And it's much easier than just going up here and then hitting save project, which is Control S there. So it's just Control S to save it. Little quick tip on how to quick save. So that is just the basics on that. It's much more in depth than that, but that should be enough to get you started. And down here you'll have your nodes. This is a little more complex, so I won't be going much into this. This can take some time to get used to and figure out. There's some videos online that go way more in depth with the nodes, so I would check out those videos. But for this beginner's course, I won't be going over the nodes very much. Now, the next one is your color light. This one is where you can adjust the brightness and the tone of your footage. This one as well also takes quite a bit of time to mess around with because there's a lot to it. There's a lot you can do. So I won't be going over this very much either. You just gotta kind of play around with it. Or there's other videos online that will show a much more in-depth overview of the color scheme. So you can always mess around and figure out how to do that. This is where you can adjust your sound. This is another one where it can be kind of, I wouldn't say complicated, but it's more of you have to really get into it to get the gist of it. You can adjust your volume right here. It almost kind of works like in the editing, but instead of having footage, it's your volume. This is where you can add more volume and sound effects, and you know, you got your cut and your snapping tool. So it's just for sound purposes and everything. Like I said, I won't go much into depth on this one because it's kind of the same. It's, I wouldn't say more advanced, but it does take a long time to kind of go through all of those. And last but not least, you have your rendering settings. This is where when you're all done with your footage and you're all done with everything that you're wanting to do, you can pick the site on which you're wanting to upload to. So in this case, it'd be YouTube. You can pick the resolution right here, 1080, 720, or 2160p. You can pick the location, hit browse. So once you pick your file, you can go down to here and put your other settings in. Then you hit add to render queue. It'll pop up on this side. You hit start render and you wait for it to done. After it's done, it'll end up in that file and you can upload it. So if you made it this far in the video, I really want to say I appreciate it. And I'm still kind of learning. I'm still learning how to script my own videos and stuff like that. So I might have missed some things or what have you. But if you notice anything, if you can put down in the comments what I did good, maybe what I did bad, and just let me know how I did. I'm always open for feedback, and I'm always looking to get better. So if you found this content helpful in any way, you can go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and that's all I have for you today. Until next time, I'll see you guys on another episode. Later.